Hey, what's up, guys? What's up, YouTube? Thanks for coming back to Steven Worldwide. It has been like a year since my last update, so I thought I would take my camera out and tell you some things that are going on in my life and give you some Steven Worldwide updates because it's long overdue. So, yeah, it's Saturday night, Saturday evening, the sun's going down, and I just thought I would spend the rest of the night walking around town, walking around Fukuoka, and just talking about topics and things that come to my mind. Hopefully I'll hit some things that are interesting to you, so stay tuned. So the first topic, I'm actually not even sure what to hit first. I'll just talk about where I am now. It's been about a year. So yeah, it's been about a year. I came here in June of last year, 2023, from Tokyo. And now that I've been here for a year, I guess I could talk about some of the differences with living and working in Tokyo to living and working in Fukuoka. I get that question a lot from people. People just say, why did you move to Fukuoka when you were already living in Tokyo? What made you move? And there's a couple reasons for that. And I don't know if I explained it in the other videos or if in the last year's update. But I've always liked Fukuoka. I first saw Fukuoka back in 2011, like 14 years ago. I went to Fukuoka for the first time with my friend when I was teaching in South Korea. And I had been there for 1 year, and my buddy said, hey, let's go check out Japan. It's just across the, just a little hop, skip, and a jump over the pond. So instead of flying over to Tokyo or Osaka like everyone else does, I took a boat. We took a boat from Busan to Fukuoka. It's a 3-hour speedboat. It's kind of like, you feel like you're sitting on an airplane. And the boat goes really fast. I forgot what it's called. I think it's called a Mirajet or Beetle. And it wasn't expensive. It was like $100 or something like that for maybe $120 for a round trip ticket. And we went to Fukuoka, and I was amazed. My first impression of Japan, and I was just like blown away how beautiful and interesting Japan was, and what a great city. Now I was comparing Korea to Japan because I had been in Korea for a year, and just how nice a city Fukuoka was, how clean it was. The differences of Japanese culture and Korean culture, the different stores, the names of restaurants and shops. Moss Burger, I never saw Moss Burger before, and I saw that for the first time. There was a beach, and the ocean was there. We saw Fukuoka Tower, all the sightseeing stuff, and the delicious food that Fukuoka is famous for. Luckily, my buddy knew all this stuff to look at in Fukuoka, so he kind of showed me around. And it always stayed in my mind how great a city Fukuoka is. And then, you know, you fast forward, let's say 8 years later, 2018, I get a job working at university in Japan near Tokyo. And then, yeah, I lived in Tokyo or the Tokyo area for about 5 years. And after 5 years, I had the opportunity to move to Fukuoka. But for the whole time, I was always thinking about how great a city Fukuoka was because I lived around Tokyo. I went to Osaka several times. I went to Kyoto several times. That's where everybody goes usually, either Kyoto or Osaka or Tokyo, right? Been to a lot of cities, a lot of areas in Japan. And I still loved Fukuoka. I still always thought Fukuoka was a special place for me. So last year, I got the chance when my office I was working in, which was in Nihonbashi, Tokyo, they closed down and the company was restructuring their branch offices, and they gave the teachers a choice. You can work at any branch you want in Japan. Most teachers moved around in Tokyo or Chiba. And when they came to me, I said, do you need a teacher in Fukuoka? And they were like, huh? Airplanes. Yeah, the Fukuoka airport, one of the great things about Fukuoka is that the airport is like 20 minutes away from the center of the city. You hop on the train and 15 minutes or 20 minutes later, you're at the airport. Whereas in Tokyo, it's like 2 hours to get to the airport. The negative point is that I live in an area where you can hear the planes flying by. And it's not that loud at my apartment, but where I am right now, it's like the planes are very close. So that's how I got to Fukuoka. I just requested that I wanted to move to or transfer to teach English in Fukuoka. My company had one branch in Fukuoka, and the manager said, sure, yeah, we can use a full-time teacher here. So I was in. Got to Fukuoka last year, got that fantastic apartment. If you want to see the tour of the apartment, just look back at the channel and you can see the Fukuoka apartment tour. Great, nice, spacious apartment, especially for a single guy like me just living in that apartment. It's like a small family, a couple with a kid could live in there, and I have that whole place by myself. And the rent, if you converted the rent to US dollars, it would be something like $600 a month, $600 or $650 a month, something like that. Maybe even less. Maybe even $550 or $600 a month to live pretty close to the downtown area and the main station in Fukuoka, which is called Hakata. So my commute to work is about 15 minutes, sometimes 20 minutes depending on which train I hop on, but the express train, 15 minutes. So door to door, about 25 minutes to get to my office, which is fantastic. Some of the differences with Fukuoka and Tokyo. So Fukuoka has its own special food culture, and they're very famous for Hakata ramen, which is like the thick pork broth soup with the spaghetti-like noodles. That's different than shoyu or soy ramen or miso ramen. That's what's popular here. If you ever heard of the brand Ichiran Ramen, that originates here in Fukuoka. And there's another place called Shinshin Ramen. Those are the two popular ramen restaurants that a lot of tourists and locals go to. And that's delicious. Now, of course, in Tokyo, you can get all of that delicious food too. They have everything there too. But in Fukuoka, it's a little bit more like home style cooking. Trying to find a place to walk where it's not like people and cars and noise everywhere, but it's a little bit tough. I'll tell you why I'm happy that I left Tokyo. I'm happy I left Tokyo because there's just too many people. It's too effing crowded. You just can't see how I'm walking here. If this were Tokyo, there'd be people behind me, people in front of me. I can't just stop right here because I'm getting in someone's way. So it's just too overcrowded and it's just too much. And as an English teacher, the advantage I have is that I can pretty much work anywhere. There are English teaching jobs in the countryside if I wanted to go there. So Fukuoka, it's a big enough city. It's like the 5th largest city in Japan, the 5th or the 6th largest city. And where I work is Hakata Station, near Hakata Station, which is kind of like the capital of Fukuoka. Hakata is the capital of Kyushu. It's the busiest place. It does get busy there. It is a little bit packed in there. It's like a little bit of Shinjuku Station going on in there. So you can't completely get away from crowds. But if you look around right now where I'm walking right now, it's nice and quiet. See, I can just enjoy walking around. If this were Tokyo, I just feel like it would just be too busy. And the life of riding the subway in Tokyo, it's crazy. When you go to work at, let's say, 7:30, 8:30 in the morning, you're just packed in like sardines. You're waiting online, a long line. You pack into the subway car. It's sweaty and gross in the summer, and it's freezing cold. People with their heavy coats in the winter, and you're pushed up against the door or the glass. And some people put up with that for an hour a day or more going to work. I couldn't even take it for 15, 20 minutes a day. I just didn't want to live like that. So I came to Fukuoka and I don't have to live like that anymore. Even though it's not Tokyo, there's still plenty of stuff to do. There's a lot of activities. Like I said, there's the beach here, and I have a video, not on this channel. I have a video on my other channel that I made at night when I was at the beach. It's not exactly Waikiki Beach in Hawaii. It's kind of like a man-made beach, but it's still a beach. It's still the ocean, and it still makes me feel a little bit like a home away from home, because I come from New Jersey and I used to go to the Jersey Shore often in the summer. So it does make me feel like I'm, smelling that ocean air is a comforting feeling, and I get that here in Fukuoka. As for the people are pretty much the same except in Tokyo, just like any major city, just like I would figure in New York, or maybe in LA, but definitely in Seoul, Korea, it was the same, where people just have their head down and they're on their way to work, and they just kind of ignore what's going on around them. They're just used to their routine, and they're not as laid back and fun and as friendly in these big cities. Fukuoka, it's a little bit different. People are laid back here, and they're not stressed out and worried about things like they are in the big city. Things are a little bit cleaner here, of course, because there's not as many people. And what's the negative thing? The train. It's a little bit negative about the train. This city is a little bit slower, or maybe a lot slower than Tokyo and Osaka. The trains don't run as often. In Tokyo, if you miss the train, if you're running up the train steps and your train pulls away, you just have to wait like maybe 3 or 4 minutes for that next train to come. Not here. Here you're waiting 15 minutes. 10 or 15 minutes. That might not sound like a long time to you, but like if you have an appointment or if you have to get to work, it can be a problem if you miss the train. So you got to be at the train on time. Whereas in Tokyo, you just go to the station and just go in and take whatever next train is coming. Here, you got to look at the timetable and schedule when to walk to that station. As for culture, as for activities, as for things to do, there's plenty of fun stuff to do in Fukuoka, especially on the weekends. There are always these food truck festivals, or like they're doing like a beer fest, or some kind of like a meat festival where people are doing barbecue and selling like a homemade beer and stuff like that. So there is always activities and fun things that you can do here. Tokyo is the same thing. If you go to like Yoyogi Park on a random weekend, there's some kind of event going on there. And Fukuoka has plenty of stuff like that too. So that's a good thing. It's not completely boring. There's a lot of cool stuff going on downtown. A couple friends visited me here in Fukuoka. A couple of my friends from Korea hopped over the pond to visit me. And one of my friends who I haven't seen since high school happens to be teaching in Hong Kong. And he came to visit me in Fukuoka, and I took them around, and we had a lot of fun with all my friends. We had like a few days, 3 or 4 days, and all of them said the same thing. They're like, wow, Fukuoka is fun. This is a fun city. I had no idea that there was this much going on in Fukuoka. So everybody has a good time that comes here. Okay, as for teaching, as my teaching changed from Tokyo to Fukuoka, I work for the same company. And it has changed. Actually, my schedule and my work life has gotten a little bit easier, I'm happy to say. So in Tokyo, I had a contract where I was teaching 10 lessons a day. I was doing 10 40-minute lessons a day with a 5-minute break. And it was brutal, but I just got used to it. I did it for like 4 years. I was up there doing that. On a busy day, I had all 10 lessons and everybody showed up. 9 or 10 lessons. It was tough. And then I mean, it was like not physically tough, but mentally tough. You just have to kind of just don't think about. You finish a lesson, you're tired, but you got 9 or 8 more to go. You just don't even think about that. On an easy day in Tokyo, I would have like 8 lessons, and maybe 1 student wouldn't show up, and then maybe 1 office time or a break. But in Fukuoka, I'm very lucky. It's not that busy here. So my contract for 10 lessons, I really only teach about 6, maybe 7 lessons a day. And this week was a holiday week, and my schedule was like 5 or 6 lessons every day, and like 3 or 4 breaks, like office breaks where I can prepare. And a lot of students didn't show up for their lessons because I teach 1-to-1. So if the student doesn't show up, I have the period off. So Fukuoka's a lot lighter and a lot more relaxing, and I get paid the same. So that's always nice. So that's it about Fukuoka. I've been here for a year, just comparing Fukuoka to Tokyo, why I like living in Fukuoka, and a couple things I miss about Tokyo, like the trains always running. That was fun. A lot of relationships and a lot of friends and people that I know in Tokyo. Unfortunately, I can't see them as much anymore. Another bummer is I can't go to the military base, the Yokota Air Base. Can't go to that much anymore now that I'm in Fukuoka, and the few times that I travel up to Tokyo, I just don't have the time because it basically takes 1 day to go from Tokyo to the air base and back. So that's one of the things, another thing that I miss, but I think that's good enough for this video. All right, I'm gonna stop it now and I'll continue later with another topic I'll talk about. Thanks for watching, guys, and check out the next video.